Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Cuomo. It is Tuesday, December 23rd, and this is Good Morning America Now. Coming up on today's show, during the holiday season, many people like to enjoy outdoor fun. But in bad weather, survival skills are critical. We have TV's Survivorman Les Stroud here with tips that could save your life.
ABC News Now. Good to know.
Welcome back to Good Morning America. Now, my guest this morning is Les Stroud. You know him as Survivorman. Good morning.
Good morning.
So how does one survive the cold in New York City?
Well, actually, where I am, it's about 10 degrees colder right now. So,
it is?
Yeah, I'm about 2 or 3 hours north of a city in Canada called Toronto, and it's
Right.
I left 4 feet of snow behind. So this is balmy. This is nice and balmy from here.
In terms of surviving heat or cold?
That's a great question. For a long time, I always used to say cold. Then I did the Kalahari Desert, and I came out of that saying, oh, that was way harder. But the very next show, I went right back up to Labrador and did cold again. And then I was like, no, cold wins. Cold, I think, is always the toughest. With heat,
Right.
Sit under a tree in the shade. With cold, you have to work to get away from it.
You can almost strip it off, right?
Yeah, that's right.
But to pile it on, it's never enough.
You can do nothing in the heat. In the cold, you can't do nothing.
You have a new book. It's called Survive, and it's not your typical survival stories. It's a lot of personal stories. What compelled you to write this book?
It's one of those life list things that I wanted to do because of being involved with survival and really enjoying survival. And then, of course, I now have the platform and the facility to be able to do it with everything else I've done in survival with the series Survivorman and so on. So it's my own personal survival stories gathered over many, many years, but then put in a form, very instructional form. So it's a survival manual. It's 90,000 words, Bible of survival kind of thing. And but I'm able to also say, and when I was in the Kalahari Desert or when I was in, Australia in the outback, this is what actually happened, and so I'm able to relate a lot of personal stories.
When you were being chased by moose.
Yeah, when I was being chased by a 1,500-pound moose. That was in Algonquin Park in Canada, and that was one of the scariest days of my life.
Was that the most harrowing experience for you? Did you think that you were just that was it for you?
Well, that was one of those. That was a tremble moment. That was me in a tree trembling from serious fear. There, 1,500 pounds of rage, 10 feet away from you, breaking trees, trying to kill you will do it to you. During the making of the series itself, though, I think the Kalahari Desert, I got heat stroke. And that's the closest I would say I've ever come to dying, because heat stroke can kill you really quick. So, being chased by a jaguar, a moose, that's pretty spectacular, sort of a fantastic story, but the heat stroke probably is the closest I've ever been to.
Les, how do you determine what you're going to experience? Like, what's next on tap for you?
What do I want to do?
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's my answer. What do I want to do next?
Whatever you decide, whatever you dream of.
I love adventure, and it's adventure that drove me into survival and many other, aspects of being out there. Whitewater and kayaking or what have you. It's the next adventure. How do I decide? I really just go on my whim of what I want to do next. I get asked a lot, how do you know which location to go to if I'm going to teach survival? Well, and there's definitely a scientific approach. What ecosystem have I not approached? What can I do in that particular ecosystem I've never done before? But by the same token, I look at the map and I go, I'd really like to go to the Cook Islands. And so can I do survival there? Yeah, I can do it there. So
if somebody's stranded, what are some of the things that they need to be mindful of? What do they need to know, the survival tips for them?
Well, you start off with the very, I'll say very basic, but very important, don't panic. Right, you can't panic.
Easier said than done.
Easier said than done, of course.
When you have a jaguar, moose
exactly
chasing you.
But it's the panic that'll kill you. And when you stop panicking and you slow your heart rate down and you calm down, then you can move on to the next steps of survival.
What does one need in a survival kit?
I do get asked a lot what my favorite survival item is, and there's a debate over whether you need shelter or fire first, depending on where you are, and that's the answer is, well, it depends on where you are and what's going on. For me, my favorite thing is to have pardoning the pun, a surefire way to get a fire going.
Okay.
And it's not rubbing two sticks together, and it's not a flint stick. It's a butane lighter. Give me a good, solid, full butane lighter any day, and I know I can get a fire going. I can deal with shelter later.
So, what is the motivating force for you that makes you want to live on the edge?
Fear of mediocrity.
Interesting.
Yeah. I came out of your very, very basic background, that white bread, peanut butter, listening to Supertramp kind of existence in the suburbs. And
You were a music video producer.
that's right. I went on into rock and roll. There's funny how well rock and roll and survival connect. There's a lot of ex-rock and rollers in survival. And I just love seeing the edge, I guess, and I don't want to fall over it, but I love seeing it.
We wish you a happy holiday, and we're glad you could join us.
Thank you very much. Merry Christmas to you.